Kevin, may I come out of the penalty box now and start my video?
Yes, Commissioner Terrace.
Sorry for not turning it off last time.
I don't know if everybody, Jerry and Chair Harrington, know to join this. Did somebody text them? Because unless, I'm so glad Commissioner Rogers, you asked that question, because I was thinking we had to join a different link too. So if you didn't ask and I didn't stay on, I think we would be missing here too. So thank you.
Yes, yes, Commissioner Willie and the chair have been made aware. Commissioner Willie should be joining right now, and hopefully the chair in a moment.
Sorry, I used the wrong link.
No worries, Chair Harrington. We are back live on YouTube, and it's back to you.
All righty. Well, welcome back to work session for Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. We'll pick up with topic number 3, Tualatin Valley Trail project updates. Mr. Roberts and team.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. So we wanted to come back and do another update for you on our Tualatin Valley Trail project. I wanted to just mention that we are right in the middle of an online open house on this project. So if anyone is interested, they can go to the project page on the county website for the Tualatin Valley Trail and click a link. We're taking comment through the end of day, 5 p.m. on June 7th. And I think with that, I will turn it over to Aaron Wardell, our Principal Transportation Planner, and Diami Valentine, Senior Planner, who's our project manager for this planning project. And I did want to just make a quick shout out to Commissioner Fye. This is a project that's in District 1, and she's jumped in and is participating in the advisory committee for the project. And also thanks to former Commissioner Scouten, who has stuck around and is continuing to serve on this committee as well. We started this work while he was still the commissioner there in District 1, and appreciate his willingness to see this through. So with that, I'll turn it over to Aaron and Diami.
Thank you, Stephen. Good morning, Chair Harrington and members of the Board of Commissioners. My name is Aaron Wardell. I am the Principal Transportation Planner. Next slide, please. This morning, we are here to provide you with an overview of the TV Trail project and give you a status update, share the work that we've completed so far. We'd like to seek the board's input as we move towards finalizing our concept plan, and then discuss our next steps, which will include coming back to you later this summer, most likely, with proposed updates to our comprehensive plan documents to formally adopt this trail. Next slide. So the questions for board consideration, and we'll come back to these at the end of the presentation, so keep them in mind as we're talking. What input or guidance does the board have regarding development of the final plan? And is there additional information the board would like to see in the final concept plan or in our comprehensive plan documents as we move towards adoption? Next slide. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Diami Valentine, Senior Planner, who is our project manager.
Good morning. Chair and Commissioners. I'm Deami Valentine, I'm a Senior Transportation Planner with the Department of Land Use and Transportation. And so this project, you might be asking, what is the Tualatin Valley Trail? This is a map that reflects kind of that this is part of a larger network that is envisioned to ultimately connect the Portland region to the coast. And in that little square is our little piece of the puzzle, which is in Aloha between 160th and 209th Avenue. And it really is envisioned to provide that regional connectivity as well as address some of the broader community goals within Aloha, specifically for providing comfortable options for people walking, biking, and rolling, and potentially providing a viable option to TB Highway. Next slide, please. So this project is funded in part through the Oregon Transportation and Growth Management Program. We received a grant and the board authorized this project back in 2018. And the goal is really to advance our understanding of needs. We've been doing a lot of work in Aloha over the last number of years. So really building from that work, and then also identifying opportunities to address some of those needs and dig in a little bit deeper around performing some of the technical analysis and concept design to identify opportunity for this trail connectivity within Aloha Reedville community. Next slide, please. So we kicked this project off in the spring of 2020, and we are hoping to wrap it up. We do have a consultant under contract, Kittleson Associates, through the end of June of this year, and we have done some detailed existing conditions work. We've done some of that technical analysis and trail alignment alternatives. I'll kind of walk through some of this in a little bit more detail in the following slides. Next slide, please. So public engagement has been interesting. Obviously, this year we kicked off, or last year when we started, we were entering into virtual world. And so we had a number of different strategies anticipated when we started the project, but we have successfully navigated this virtual world with online engagement. We have a project website, and we're able to convene 2 advisory committee groups, a technical advisory committee as well as a stakeholder advisory committee. We do have our 4th meetings of those committees scheduled in the next couple of weeks. We've also held 2 online engagement opportunities. We had one last fall, and as Stephen noted, we have another one that's currently underway. And we did do a couple of weeks ago, we did an in-person tabling event with all, following all COVID protocols with social distance, and had some good turnout from that. We were on the West Side Trail as well as Barsati Park in Aloha, and had some good conversations with the community. We have, next slide. So what we really heard, and again, building off of a lot of the community input that we have received over the last number of years in engaging with the community, worked to build on these community goals of ensuring that we have equitable access for all users and ensuring improved opportunity in an underserved community. And certainly equity has been the guiding principle for this project in terms of outcomes as well as our engagement strategy. But really safety is a driving force here in ensuring that folks have safe travel options through the corridor, Again, we want to ensure that the trail outcome, for this provides opportunities to connect to not only the regional trail network, but also give people access to schools, transit, park and recreational opportunities as well. And then ensuring that this is coordinated with our partners, because this is long-term, a vision to connect to Beaverton, Hillsborough. So they've been closely involved in this process as well. And then we want to make sure that whatever that we're developing here is feasible when we're thinking about the implementation of this trail as well. Next slide. So we started with 5 initial on-street trail alternatives that included Johnson Street to the north, Alexander Street, the TV highway corridor itself, Shaw Street, and then Blanton Street. And we, with good input from the community as well as our advisory committees, refined that through various technical and community input screenings, winnowed it down to 2 primary corridors to advance into concept design, which is south of TV Highway, which is really what we heard a strong preference from the community to target improvement and investment south of TV Highway. And so Shaw Street and Blanton Street are the 2 corridors that are currently being considered with further evaluation and concept design. Next slide. So I'll walk through kind of what those concepts at this point look like. So for Blanton Street, there's really just a need for a complete street type of design. So this is the concept that's in place now, looking at separated bike facilities with adjacent to the sidewalk, separated by a planter strip. Our consultants have prepared 5 or 6 different type of cross sections for Blanton Street, for just kind of depending on the context. There is potential to accommodate on-street parking, for example. Some of the challenges for both of these corridors are signalized trail crossings at major streets. So our consultants have done some traffic analysis to determine potential warranted treatments to safely to provide safe crossings for pedestrians, for people walking and biking. One of the challenges for Blanton Street is the right-of-way constraints that currently exist, and as well as the primarily residential nature of Blanton Street, which has a lot of driveways. And so there's potential to, or the need to address where those driveways, to mitigate the driveway crossings and potential conflict points. Next slide, please. For the Shaw Street corridor, we've looked at more of a shared use path on the north side of Shaw Street. It's a local street, so its ultimate right-of-way is a little bit narrower. The benefit of the more multi-use path option here is the adjacency to the railroad, which has, there's obviously very few conflict points. And so this is actually a concept that came out of the Aloha Tomorrow work, where we identified this opportunity. And so we've kind of advanced some of that concept work through this effort. Some of the challenges with this, again, is the feasibility concerns with the major street crossings of 160th, 170th, 185th, and 198th. And the proximity to the railroad actually presents some challenges with those crossings, and just the feasibility and potential risk of needing to coordinate with the railroad in developing those crossing opportunities. Next slide, please. And this illustrates what that potential crossing treatment. So the current thinking is, and we're actually exploring this with the community, is, you know, if Shaw was a viable option, would you be willing to make this crossing of, this is 185th as an example, traveling out of direction to go up to TV Highway at the existing signalized intersection versus more of a direct crossing? And so, you know, our analysis has shown that the direct crossing could potentially be implemented, but again, there's just a higher level of risk associated with that. And this is the example in the photograph is the type of treatment that is recommended at this point for these crossing treatments, which is the half signal. And this is an example of the Walker Road crossing of the Waterhouse Trail. Next slide, please. So again, we wanted to note that there is this public comment opportunity through June 7th. And we have both an English and a Spanish version of the open house available for the community to participate, and encourage folks to take advantage of that. I think at this point, we've heard from about 92 participants, community members, and I think the last open house we had over 320 responses. So we've had good public feedback from the online engagement. Next slide, please. So in terms of next steps, we will be, as I noted, working with our consultant to finalize the concept plan over the next couple of weeks with feedback from our stakeholder advisory members, which includes Commissioner Fye and Commissioner Scouten. We hope to come back later this summer for board acknowledgement of the final document, the concept plan, as well as prepare amendments to the relevant comprehensive plan documents, including the transportation system plan, as well as the Reedville, Lower Reedville community plan, if so directed. And then next slide. So at this point, we are happy to take any questions in terms of what type of additional input and guidance do you have regarding developing the final plan, and any additional information you would like to see in the final plan.
Commissioners, what questions do you have or comments? Go ahead, Commissioner Rogers.
One quick one, and maybe it's to you, Stephen, because you have the checkbook, so to speak, on these projects. How expensive would it be to connect to another existing trail? I appreciate we're trying to do all this in segments, and I guess I get overly ambitious trying to put things together, but how far, assuming we did this section, how far is the next segment, let's say not to Hillsborough, because they're yet to do theirs, but let's say to Beaverton? Is there something close we could connect to make this thing a little lengthier?
We go to slide 4.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and I think I'll ask Aaron and Diami probably to talk in more detail, but I think, you know, we are, as you said, we're sort of planning this in discrete segments. And so there are portions that are within the city of Beaverton and portions within Washington County and a portion in Hillsborough. And it is a part of this larger envisioned future east-west connection, and it will require coordination amongst all of the jurisdictions doing their part, if you will, to sort of plan for and eventually, hopefully, help to construct and manage those segments of the trail. And I don't know if, Commissioner, a part of your question was more about, are there other existing facilities that could suffice in lieu of this, or?
I'm not trying to say not to do it. I'm trying to,
Okay.
Your eyes are probably better than mine, but I can't, all I see is a green
Yeah.
blob. Yeah.
So this is where you have to really expand the display window for the presentation, because on slide 4, it has the small map within the context of the large map. So Stephen and Diami, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like from the east, the Beaverton Creek Trail comes in, and then this planning effort is trying to figure out how the Beaverton Creek Trail will connect up with the Tualatin Valley Trail to then connect up with the Council Creek Regional Trail. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, that's correct. There's a couple opportunities. So the Fano Creek Trail, which we included in here, would come into Beaverton. The Beaverton Creek Trail is probably the near-term opportunity for providing some east-west connectivity coming from the east. Oop,
What happened to the slide?
lost the map there.
Slide 4, please. Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, there you go.
Our master projectionist.
Yeah, that's good. So then there's also the West Side Trail, north-south, kind of, and that's relatively complete through this area. We also have a vision for another north-south trail on the west end in Hillsborough, the Reedville Trail. And we're going to be doing some work between Johnson and Baseline. Then South Hillsborough will have some trail potentially as part of their South Hillsborough project. And then there's going to be a gap between that and Council Creek, but then the Council Creek Trail from Hillsborough to Forest Grove. And then there's that north-south segment that is envisioned in their master plan north of Cornelius to Banks.
So to Commissioner Rogers' question, you've shown us concepts and alignment alternatives for this segment from 160th over to Cornelius Pass Road. How do we make sure that that actually does connect up to something versus being an orphaned segment, so to speak?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. It does. We know that there will be some benefit to this in the near term, certainly for the community, and it will connect to the West Side Trail, which is existing, as well as the Reedville Trail, which is relatively complete and or will be complete in the near term. So there is going to provide some trail network connectivity in the short term. Obviously, long term, developing this ultimate vision is multi-generational.
So will that clarity be coming to us as part of the next steps, or can offline, can you show the maps for how this would connect up?
Yeah, we will certainly make sure that this is it's clear in the final document how this is part of either a near-term and or long-term strategy. And in terms of cost, if I understood the question as well, the outcome of this will provide some cost estimate for these segments of Shaw Street as well as Blanton Street. And just from we've identified it's about 8 million per mile for kind of on-street segments, ballpark estimate for off-street or off-street trail projects. It's, can be, depending on the environment, but 4 to 5 million per mile.
Let me just follow up with that. If you were to humor me and you're within a mile of a connectivity, I'm not saying to the west, I'm saying to the east. Sorry, Jerry, but I'm looking at the east so we can get it, because Hillsborough's got some opportunity out there. this is a great environment for costing things. So I'd like to see something that really went somewhere and connected, because it's a good project. If we could connect it to the east, it would be great. So I'd just love to see something in the area of what would it cost us to do that. In the transit business, we used to call it that last mile, or last few blocks, whatever. What would it cost? And we can always say, nah, that's too much of an add-on, but it'd be interesting to me, at least, to see what that would take. So that's all.
Yeah, great point.
Well, I know with various upgrades with the Fano Creek Trail, you can go quite a distance now and get all the way down to the Tigard Tualatin area. So having this, or having a TV, I want to name it Tualatin Valley Trail, taking us from the Aloha area up to these multiple trail segments that you've listed, Diami, will connect a lot of neighborhoods. It seems like it'll connect a lot of neighborhoods in the greater Aloha area up to that wider trail network. It's just a little hard to see just in one slide, but I understand your spirit of trying to show it to us.
Yeah, we were trying to provide the long-term vision here.
So thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Those are really good points that you raised. Other commissioners, any questions? So next step wise, you're finishing that public comment period to finalize a concept plan with a preferred alternative. You'll need us to acknowledge that so that we can go through the final payments with ODOT on the grant disbursement. And then you talk about the transportation system plan update and community plan update. From there, is this portion, so my question is this portion part of the regional trail system, or is that still reflecting at a vision level, and this is getting down to the actual preferred alignments at the street level, so we can then go after the funding to actually build it?
Yeah, it is reflected in the regional transportation plan and our trails network. So it will refine those documents to identify that preferred alignment, and then it will also make us. It will position us at least to be responsive to funding opportunities as they come up, to help us prioritize and have a cost estimate and a little bit better understanding as we compete for those competitive funding opportunities.
Great, thank you. That helps me understand the complete context. Any other commissioner comments or questions with regard to what input or guidance you might need for the development of the final plan, and then any other information you might want staff to prepare for us prior to coming back to us with the final plan? No, looks like you've heard it all. Thank you, team. Really appreciate your effort on behalf of our community.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so it's 11:30. We do have one more topic on the agenda. Ms. Angie, is staff available to take us through that as needed, or do we need to reconvene later?
We need to reconvene at 1 o'clock.
Yes, we'll do our long range planning work program briefing at 1 o'clock, but our staff aren't available before then.
Understood, just checking. Yeah. All right, so we will take a long break then for lunch and reconvene at 1 p.m. And that'll be the link for 1 p.m., right?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. See you a little later.